Hi there, it's Liz Yule from Old Stables Crafts again, and today I'm bringing you hopefully a really quick project. I say hopefully because it shouldn't take too long, and it's using from the new Spring Summer Occasions catalogue the bundle, the window shopping bundle, which is on page 43 of the Spring Summer catalogue. And what I'm doing and what I want to show you is how to use specifically some of the thinlet dies. I think there's some confusion about what these can be used for, but I will also be looking at the stamp set as well, which is the window shopping stamp set. It's a bundle, so if you were to buy both, you get 10% off. Remember, it's always worth looking for these bundle offers because it means you get 10% off both the stamps and the dies or punch. Sometimes the bundles are for punches. So keep your eye open for that. And remember that during celebration, if you spend £45 or more on any products, you get to choose a free item out of the celebration catalogue. And if you were to choose this bundle with the clear mount, it comes in clear mount or wood mount, it is exactly £45. So it's a really good one to look for if you're looking for a good stamp set and some dies. So let's just have a quick look. First of all, these are the two projects that I have made already. I'm going to do a similar version of this card today on camera, but I also wanted to show you what the box looked like made up, and this does open up. This is actually a sample that I've made from a suggestion in our quarterly magazine that as demonstrators we get a quarterly magazine with all sorts of samples and business tips and just some general fun chit-chat. And this is one of those samples, as indeed is this. So anyway, let's have a look at what you get in the bundle. So let's pop those to one side for the moment. This is the die set, and you get, and these are, I have yet to put them on their magnetic sheet, which I always put them on the magnetic sheet because it's easier for classes and things. There's actually one die missing because we're going to be using it in the project, and I've kept that out separately. So you get the box die, you get two additional dies to cut bits to put on the top of the lid. One is this scallop, and then there's this which does, so this would cut a scallop window in your lid, which you could then put window mount on at the window sheet at the back to have a see-through panel, and this then cuts little slices also in the lid. Then there's this, which I know is causing some confusion, and we'll cover that, and also a little tag. So let's start with this. This is the die that you use to cut these flags, but it also does the scoring. So if I pull this out, it scores these two lines, which makes it really easy. So you just have to cut a piece of card that's the right width, which is it's about well, it's my brain has gone. It's 7/8 of an inch wide. Why is that difficult? I'm looking at it and there are 7/8. Anyway, it's 7/8 of an inch wide. So you cut a piece of cardstock the length you want, and then you can do this little flag and fold just with the die. Just run it through the big shop, really easy. The box is cut using two of these, and when you come to make it up, you would want to, on one of the two that you make, you cut these two tabs off, so that you then just tuck one into the other. It's not terribly well described, is it? So I'm not sure if you can see in there, but so I've cut the tab off here and then just used the tab from the other one to stick. Can you see? see that's just stick behind there. So yeah, that's fairly straightforward, and you just flip one over. And when you come to, if you stamp, as I've stamped here, you need to stamp one the right way up and one the wrong way up, because to put your box together you need one that's cut this way, and then you marry it up to one that's cut this way. So just bear that in mind if you're stamping, particularly if you're using the stamp that I've used, which has got hearts. It's not so important if you use the one with the flowers on, but if you use the hearts, you do need to make sure you rotate your stamp through 180 degrees. So that's the box. You can, rather than stamping, which is what I've done, you can then use these little inserts. So you would put the two together. You can run one through and then repeat on the other windows, or just do every other window or side. So yeah, those are for that. But I'm going to show you. Oh, and then sorry, yes, there's this, which is you can use for the lid, or again you can use it as a separate piece on a different project, in much the same way as the project that I'm going to show you today. So this is this die, which is another of those little squares that you can put into the side of the box, and I've just run that through the Big Shot using the precision base plate, because it's a very intricate die, and then just to save time I ran that through already. So let's go through the measurements so that we can finish this card. It's a standard A6 card, so this time I'm using Peekaboo Peach. So it's an A5 card, an A4 piece of card cut in half. So it's A5. Then you score at 4 1/8, which happens to be the middle, to make your A5 card base. Let's just get the bone folder to make that a crisp edge. Then this is Thick Whisper White. The Thin Whisper White does work, but I would recommend the thick rather than the thin, or any other colour. This is 5 by 3.5 inches, or 12 3/4 by 9 centimetres. Don't worry about writing down the measurements, as ever they'll be on the blog post that goes with this video, which will be linked in the description bar below. So Thick Whisper White, and then a scrap of glimmer paper, either gold, or I've got some pumpkin pie left over from Halloween, but if you've got gold then that would be just as good, or you can use Daffodil Delight or So Saffron if you don't want the glimmer, but as far as I'm concerned you can do no wrong with a bit of glimmer. So let's pop this out, and then with a piercing tool, which I thought I had on my desk, which I do. You can either use the piercing tool or the Big Shot brush, but as I've got this here, I will just run this through. If you're using the brush, leave the die in place and then just rub the brush over the back of the die, and then that protects the card from the brush, which does have fairly stiff bristles, so you don't want to damage the card. And always, if you're using the foil card, do leave the die in if you're pushing the bits out, because otherwise you'll scratch the foil and it'll show. So that's that all done. If I put it against my jumper, you should be able to see that that's all now nicely out. Oh, apart from just that one piece there, teeny weeny piece just up at the top there. So that's now out, and let's just get the one out of the bottom out as well. Perfect. Right, so pop that to one side so I don't lose it, and then get rid of these bits because they'll get in the way later, I have no doubt, knowing me. So into the bin. Right, so then we need, this is going to be the flames, so in order to put that in the right position I would just hold it so that it's not coming over the base of the candles. So just hold it in position and then pop it on your card so that you've got it in the right place, and then with a pencil just lift up your and draw a line so that you know where you want to line up, and then you can take I've got snail here, so we'll use snail. Take some snail, just run it on the back, and then pop that in place, and then when we put this back on top, we know that that's going to be lined up where we want it. So now let's do the stamping. We're using the window shopping stamp set. This is the clear mount, so it's the red rubber but that then goes on the clear blocks. It does come in wood mount as well, but it doesn't come in photopolymer. But it's a lovely set. Whether you want to do it with the dies or not, it's a great set. It's got some nice fonts, some big stamps, as well as some little ones. So yeah, I think it's a really lovely set. We are going to be using the Happy Birthday. So we'll take that out. This goes on a D block. So let's get that mounted up. And I'm going to use one of the ombre stamp pads, this time in Peekaboo Peach, so it'll go with the cardstock we're using. I actually won this at a team event. We had one of our monthly team meetings, and we always do a raffle just for a few bits and pieces, and this was one of the prizes, so that was great fun. Always a fun evening. One of the advantages of being a demonstrator is you get to go to these sort of events, and if you're lucky you get to pick a prize, and I picked this because I hadn't got any ombre stamp pads, and I wanted one. So just to show you actually this before we go too much further, these do actually come out, so you can use them as separate little ink pads. They are all shades of Peekaboo Peach, but what I would say is that this, and it says it in the catalogue, but these really aren't made for re-inking, because it's 5 different shades of the same colour. It wouldn't be that straightforward to re-ink it, so just bear that in mind, that when it does start getting a bit dry, it's actually much cheaper for these to just get a new one. So because we don't want straight lines for the difference between the shades, you need to put it down and then twist just a little bit, just to make sure that it's not got that straight line. It's a fairly hard fabric pad rather than the foam that we're used to with the classic ink pads, so you do need to be quite definite with it. Not recommended to keep going back onto it, but because this is a fairly straight sentiment, I'm not too worried. So it's a down twist, but do that quite firmly. So our card ready to stamp. I want to leave a space because I'm going to put a piece of washi tape here, so just making sure that I am sort of square in the left to right in the middle of the card. Down, firm press as ever, and up again, and there we are. We've got that nice faded ombre effect that we're looking for, so that's a really nice, quick, easy way to get that shaded view, and this I'll clean with the ordinary Stampin' Scrub. So I mentioned washi tape. I am using the washi tape from the Affectionately Yours designer washi tape set because it's got the same sort of tones in it. On the original version, that I put together, this is Watermelon Wonder as a background. So I'm just keeping with that theme, as I happen to have it out on my desk. So just pull a piece off, and because it's washi tape it just tears really easily. Pop it where you want it, And the thing with washi tape is that it's never going to be exact because the ends are meant to be torn. So just embrace that and it's all good. So we're then going to put some dimensionals on the back. Now this is quite a large piece, so I'm not going to go mad because it's not actually got any pressure being put on it. I'm going to use some of the edge pieces because it then gives a bit more of a cover on the long sides. Although saying that, I've only got 3 of these long sides left, of the bits for the long side, so the rest we will do with ordinary dimensionals. I'll put one at the top as well, oops, and apparently one at the bottom. So just peel those off. So I've mentioned Celebration and that for every £45 you spend on product, and it doesn't matter where that's from, that can be from the annual catalogue, the spring-summer occasions, even the clearance rack. For every £45 you are able to choose an item from the Celebration catalogue, and there are some really lovely items in there this time, and there's some more coming in February. We don't know what they are yet, but they are coming. So then making sure that you get your card lined up so that you can't see the glimmer paper on the candles, but you can on the flame. There we go. It's as simple as that. So that's the one I just made. That's the one I made earlier. And then we've got the box as well. Now this is made with craft cardstock, craft ink, the craft white ink. The paper is from the Cupcakes and Carousel paper stack, which is the 6x6 paper stack, which is just delish. And that's got So Saffron and Bermuda Bay in it, so I kind of went with that whole colour suggestion. It just makes it so easy if you look at the colours that are in the stack already. You don't have to plug your brain in. And again, I've used the Pumpkin Pie Glimmer card because I've got some, and that kind of tones quite nicely with the Peekaboo Peach. But gold would do just as well. So that's those. So I've mentioned Celebration. The other thing to remember is that this is a perfect time for considering the starter kit. This is a really soft, put the toe in the water way of trying out Stampin' Up as a, I don't want to say business because it doesn't have to be a business, but for £99 you get to choose £130 of product, plus during Celebration 2 free stamp sets, and that can be any stamp sets. Can't be a bundle, but it could be a stamp set. So if you wanted these stamps, for example, but you didn't want the dies, you could choose this as one of your free stamps. So £130 of product, £99, 2 free stamp sets, free postage and packing. It's a real give it a go, see if it works for you kind of thing. You can then benefit from discounts. Starter discount is 20% off all your sales. That's off the non-VAT bit, 20%. And there are some very low quarterly minimums that if you wanted to continue as a demonstrator you would have to meet. But if you didn't meet them, and you've got until the end of June. If you signed up now, you'd have until the end of June to hit your minimum to continue. But it means that you would get, say, the 20% discount. You get to order the stuff from the new annual catalogue, which is launched in June. You would get to order that in advance. You'd get at least a month earlier order, pre-order. So you get to get your hands on all those nice new things earlier than anybody else, and get to go to Stampin' Up events, team events, etc. So if you're looking at spending, certainly if you're looking at spending over £100, it's a no-brainer. You should get the starter kit. But I will leave that with you. If you want any of these items, excuse me, I'm going to have to cough. If you want any of these items or any other product, please have a look. There's a link in the description bar below to my online store. I'll list the items that I've used in this project on the blog post, which again is in the description bar below. If you do want to buy anything, I would be thrilled if you shop with me. I try to look after my customers really well, so do give it a go if you haven't already got a demonstrator. Then please give it a go. Only in the UK, I'm afraid. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, then please subscribe. I'm fairly new at doing this. I started in kind of December-ish, but I've got, at this moment, I think I've got 160 subscribers. When I hit 500, I will be doing a free giveaway for Stampin' Up products. So if you want to subscribe, please do. That would be great. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you want to leave any comments or if you've got any queries, just give me a leave me a message in the comments box. I always reply to comments, so please do give me a chance to answer any questions you have. I hope you enjoyed that. I think it's probably ended up slightly longer than I had intended, but hey, all important stuff. So thanks a lot, and I will see you again very soon.